podcast. We are your hosts, Mariah
and Karen,
and we want to welcome you back to our show. We're hosted by Narrow Path Wellness, and today we are delving into a topic that I've seen floating around, but I don't know. We want to give you our take on it and some of the information we know, and that is seed oils.
Ooh, bum, bum, bum.
Yes. We all eat them. We love them. They're in Chick-fil-A, which is very sad. And so let's go ahead and get into it. So do you want to maybe explain what seed oils are if you can, and like what name some? Like what are some that we might see on like a ingredients list?
Yeah. So what I understand about seed oils and what I've learned is that they are oils made from seeds.
You're defining them with the word.
Yes. And the problem with seed oils isn't necessarily that they're made from a seed. It's the... Stop.
What?
Listen. It's because they're processed at high temperatures, and it actually changes the physical characteristics of the oil that comes out of the seed. So it actually turns them toxic. So examples of seed oil, you could use,
Soybean oil?
Soybean oil. Yep, that's one. Isn't canola?
Yep.
Canola is another one.
Sometimes they just
peanut
call it
oil.
Peanut oil, vegetable oil. It's basically any vegetable oil too. That's how they also. That's the thing, is it's kind of hard to determine what exactly a seed oil is. Like, is it just like rapeseed oil, grapeseed oil? Like, does it have to have the word seed in it? It doesn't. It's really just vegetable oils. So like corn oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, all of those. Those are all.
What
seed
about
oils.
black seed oil or flaxseed oil?
Yeah.
But when they're cold pressed, they actually have good benefits.
Well, that's the thing. So with seed oils, they have polysaturated and monosaturated fats. So they have omega-3s and omega-6 acids, which we need because we can't produce them on our own. But the issue is that
Isn't it just in the processing of
well,
these
yeah,
oils?
it's in the processing, and it's too much of omega-6s.
Right.
It's
And then
too
it
much,
becomes
like
toxic.
way too much. Like
Right.
it is like way beyond what our body needs and then some. So that's kind of the big issue. And then the also issue is how they're processed. So when you think about it, so like if you take a carrot and you grind it up, that's processing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, let's take a carrot, let's grind it up, let's take some oil and let's heat it up. And then we're going to take that heated up oil, put it with a ground up carrot with a bunch of other ground up, mashed up things that are mixed with other oils. And then we're going to fry that. And then we're going to like take that fried whatever and then put it in a package and spray it with some, things, the preservatives. And then we're going to sell it to people. It's like that is a highly ultra processed item.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of why the seed oils are bad, is it's another processed thing going into your food. And it's so high in those omega-6 fats that it really seriously causes issues with your body. But like you were saying, so like avocado oil, if it's cold pressed or expeller pressed, those don't have trans fats, and the trans fats are also like a big problem with the seed oils. So those are better. Those are better for you. And you do need omega-6 and omega-3. So you need fat, but you don't need that much in that way.
Yeah, and I think the key, and actually when I was researching seed oil dangers, I was more concerned about the chemical makeup. Like when you add heat to these oil, when you actually start the processing process, that it completely changes their molecular structure into something that's unhealthy. And then the other thing with seed oils is a lot of these were uncovered by chemical companies when they were developing other things. And then they were like, oh, wow, look at, we can use
engine oil.
We can use this in food. So there's some pretty significant concerns. But here's the thing though. So any oil, including olive oil, can be bad for you if you like heat it to a temperature that it's not supposed to be at.
Yeah, in excess.
Yeah. olive oil turns rancid if
Yeah.
you use it in high heat.
Right.
So a lot of people don't know that. Avocado oil has a high smoke point, but I'm sure there are downsides to avocado oil if it's not cold pressed or if it's not expeller pressed. So yeah. I mean, we just have to be careful with oils in general.
That is, yeah. And that's the thing is like, I think everybody is so used to cooking with oil, like avocado oil and everything else. Like that's what we know.
Right.
But something I've kind of realized is beef tallow and cooking with like animal fat. That really, they have the absolute highest smoke point. It lasts a long time. It really does the job well. It's really nonstick. It's great.
So is beef tallow processed in any way, or is it just straight out of the beef? Out of the beef.
I don't know. I'm
the
not
cow.
really sure. I can look it up though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean,
cottonseed oil, corn oil,
yeah,
canola. I mean, canola and soybean oil. The problem with soybean oil is that it's all genetically modified. You can't find a clean soybean if your life depended on it.
Yeah.
Canola has so much glyphosate.
Oh,
in it.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's the other
gosh.
thing to consider is and a lot of times I don't know why they add the seed oil. I don't know why it's necessary it's like it's
got to be for
everything.
something.
Right. It's almost
got to
like
add a flavor.
Right. Well, that's the thing too is a lot of the seed oils have actually had to be bleached or seriously like stripped of the smell because a lot of people describe the smell of seed oils as like rancid because it's literally they used it to lubricate engines. You know what I mean? So it's really like garbage. So it's not good. But yeah, so that's kind of like
people should just use butter.
Yeah, butter.
Like real
beef
butter.
Tallow, yeah.
Beef tallow is good. Lard.
Yeah, okay, so beef tallow is minimally processed. You render the beef tallow. So I've attempted this and I want to try it again. Where basically all you do is it's the fat, a lot of people get rid of the fat. It's like the chunky white stuff for like beef.
Yeah.
And you take it, you can put it in a crock pot, you melt it down. It does not high heat. It's slow, high. It's low heat.
Right.
And then once you melt it down, all that does is separates the impurities from the fat.
Yeah.
And then you just take the fat off, you like skim it off, and then you use it to cook.
Or you can just order it from Thrive.
Yes. Yep. That's what I also
I admire your home remedies. Your home
it stinks.
Homemade.
I'm not gonna lie, if you render it at home, you need to do it in the garage. It stinks.
Ew. Yeah,
it
no
stinks.
thanks. I mean,
it kind of smells good, but it also
let's
stinks.
do like a top 5, maybe top 6. Okay, let's just make it top 6. Top 6 bad oils and bad fats versus the top 6 good fats or oils. So you mentioned, let's start with the good. That's easier. Lard, tallow,
bacon grease.
Okay.
Butter.
Coconut oil, ghee butter.
Yeah, ghee butter.
Coconut oil, I like coconut oil.
It doesn't have a high smoke point.
Yeah, but it has a purpose. It's a good oil for you. I put it in my coffee.
Just in general?
Yeah, I'm just talking about in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree.
Okay, avocado oil. And olive oil. But
olive oil is, I don't think it can be trusted right now because I don't think it's pure, and there's also a serious olive shortage right now.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's sus.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that and like research it. But yeah. There's like so it's a little sus to me right now. And also the fact that it's being sold in anything other than like a dark container. Yeah. If it's not sold in a dark container,
and get it
it's
in glass,
not olive oil.
Make sure it's
glass dark. I mean, that's the thing is it has to be stored that way because if it's not, it's rancid.
Lovely.
So
let's talk about the bad ones.
Yes.
So soybean, canola.
Anything that says
What about sunflower oil?
Yes, sunflower oil.
It sounds so harmless. I like sunflower seeds. Talk to me about sunflower oil.
Okay,
what the heck?
So sunflower oil, I think it has to do with how it's processed. It's not so much that it's like it'll if it was just sunflower oil, like they just processed down the sunflower seeds and took the oil, it would be fine. But I think because it goes through like it has to go through that process of stripping it of the smell. It has to go through the process of like recoloring it because a lot of times like these oils when they're first put through that process, they're like sludgy and brown
Ugh.
because they're not meant to be consumed. So it's like they have to go through this process to make them edible again. Yeah, so that's sunflower oil. Also, something I'm going to look into more, but is interesting, is if you go to the store and you see something called a tocopherol. Let me make sure I'm spelling it right. TOCOPHERYL. They call it vitamin E, but in the majority of cases when you're buying food, if you see that that's an ingredient, it's basically all vegetable oils or whatever ones they could, scrounge up.
Yeah.
They just dump them in. It's a
Oh.
mixture of all of them, which if you have allergies,
Yeah.
I always wonder, like, how do people with like nut allergies or soy allergies, how are they like able to eat?
Right.
Because it's in everything. Like, if you see a tocopherol, you're probably getting a little bit of everything.
Ugh.
It's just like a vegetable oil sludge.
It's like the Saturday special mixture.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too we didn't mention, what about palm oil? I'm seeing this more and more in healthy, non-GMO organic stuff. And
yeah.
I don't know enough about palm oil. I'm assuming it comes from a palm tree or something.
So this it's just like the sunflower oil. The process that it has to go through to end up in our food is so ultra processed. It's no longer food when it's like in your food. You know what I'm saying? So it goes through a sterilization process. So they has to sterilize. They do it through like high steam usually. Then they have to strip it. So they have to separate, the fruit from the machine, and they have to strip it. Then they press it. So that's how they squish. They extract the oil.
Right.
Then they have to clarify it, which is how they get all the impurities out. Mm-hmm. Then they have to dry it. Usually have to refine it. Usually have to fraction it, and that makes it to where it stays liquid, kind of like fractionated coconut oil.
Yeah.
That's how they keep it liquid.
Okay.
So yeah, and then you end up with crude, refined, or Styrian palm oil. I mean, and that's the problem, is it's like, so for cold expressed avocado oil, it cuts out a lot of these processes. It's still not great, but it's a lot better, and it has less of those omega-6s. So that's what makes it better, has a higher heat point. Beef tallow, that's why people like it, because all you're doing to it is you're melting it at a low heat, and you put it in your food.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, most people would agree probably butter is one of the best cooking ingredients.
The only issue, like, just if you're cooking with it, I don't love it as much as beef tallow because it doesn't have as high as a smoke point.
Right.
And beef tallow really like coats the pan.
Yeah, I get that.
And butter kind of like evaporates too quick, but flavor wise, way better. Yep. I mean, it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, so they say like palm oil is tricky to spot because it goes by like a billion different names.
That's
like
what
palm kernel oil.
Right.
Like palmative sodium larthate sulfate. I mean, there's just like 15 different names it goes by.
Yeah, and I wonder how can you possibly get the organic label for it if it goes through such a rigorous clarification,
well, see, the
like
organic
bleaching
label
process.
just means it was grown in organic circumstances, but it doesn't mean that the processing of the oil is in any way, shape, or form natural or organic. That's the problem.
Yeah, and I don't know. I've never looked into. I've heard, but I don't know for sure. When you look at labels, usually like whatever ingredient is the most prevalent in the food, it's supposed to come first. I don't know if that's true, but the seed oils are always like the first 3.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like,
there's an app you can use. It's called palmoilapp.com. I haven't checked it out personally, but basically you can scan products to see, because a lot of times I guess this is saying that like 70% of the time, if it says vegetable oil, it's actually palm oil.
Oh, yeah. I believe it. Which also, it's like, where is that palm coming? Like, how do you even find the source? Like, if you care about finding the source for things, you'll never find it for that.
I mean, really, it all just boils down to usually these oils are in processed, easy to grab foods.
Yes.
I mean, that's at the end of the day, you're not going to find palm oil in a blueberry.
Right.
That you just picked off the vine, or in a carrot you just yanked out of the, or out of the cow you just took to the butcher.
Yeah.
That's why you can't eat convenience, folks.
Yeah. And
That's the thing.
So I guess the real reason for like, because I've always wondered like why do I need seed oils when I buy food from the grocery store, and why do I not need to add them to food when I make it at home? And basically it comes down to it's like an emulsifier. So if you like want something that's like, if you want it to bind things that don't normally bind, like oil and water, you need a seed oil for that. Moisture retention, so it keeps things like moist, I guess. Shelf life, it's a preservative. That's one function of it.
You want to eat fresh.
Yeah.
So you don't need that.
Right. And I guess, so not all seed oils do have trans fats, so it's kind of like an alternative to trans fats, because I don't think trans fats are legal. I don't think you're allowed to I don't think you're allowed to add trans fats to foods anymore. I'm pretty sure, you're not
I don't know.
Companies aren't supposed to do that. So whatever. But anyways, so that's like why they add it, I guess. I don't really understand. And it's also cheaper, of course. So it's in everything, unfortunately. It really.
Let's talk about some of the health risks from seed oil.
Okay,
let's talk about that. Yep. So what are some of the things that seed oil does to our body?
The biggest thing I think anyone across the board, anyone who's looked into it can agree on, is inflammation, for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, with inflammation, we all know like that really causes like a cause and effect.
Yeah.
And it really, really is an issue with cell function.
Right.
Like it really interrupts your cell function.
Right. So if you go back to our mitochondria episode, you'll learn a little bit about the cellular function.
Yes.
The thing with seed oil that I find most troubling, and this makes the most sense too, it's like, look, when you're putting something into your body that has been altered, processed, changed, it goes into your body and your body rejects it. I mean, your body literally is not designed to eat seed oil. It's some
not
sort
food.
of concoction we made in a laboratory somewhere.
Right.
So your body, like, it's toxic to the body, and it harms your body and your cells.
Yeah.
So what else? So you talk about inflammation, and here's the thing with inflammation. Okay, inflammation is a symptom. You have to find out what the root cause is.
Yeah.
Inflammation is the body's response to some foreign agent, something happening inside the body that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
So it's your body responding with fight or flight, and it's fighting off whatever's in the body, and then sometimes it can't turn itself back off.
Right.
So then you end up with autoimmune diseases where your body is constantly in a state of inflammation. So that seed oil triggers that response in the body.
Yeah.
Which is highly dangerous because when you're in a state of inflammation for a prolonged period of time, it puts stressors on your heart, your liver, your kidneys. All of your vital organs are being stressed.
Right. Well, and it also, so the other part in that too is that when the seed oils oxidize, which they can happen in your body, that can happen in processing it, that can happen, I mean, a lot of them probably are oxidized because people don't store them properly, or they come in a clear container at Aldi.
Yeah.
When they oxidize, that makes them have free radicals, which causes oxidative damage to your cells and your cell membranes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it all kind of ties together with, mitochondrial health, in our last episode. It all kind of ties together.
It does. It does.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
You can even tell when you've had a lot of seed oil because you can feel it in your body. You'll pick up on the inflammation.
Yeah, we call it, when we eat Chick-fil-A, we call it like the seed oil cough.
Yeah.
Because you just get all that like phlegm. And...
Well, I usually call it the gluten cough.
Yeah.
But the gluten is usually tied to seed oils.
Yeah.
Because gluten... If you're eating bread or
anything with
pizza, it's going to have oils in it. So it's hand in glove. You don't know which one's triggering it, but it's literally your body like responding with like a food allergen type response. So yeah.
Definitely.
So friends, one of the things you can do is really try to find ways to avoid seed oil in your diet, especially if you're somebody that struggles with an autoimmune disease or some sort of inflammation in your body.
Yeah, or even insulin resistance, because it can really cause issues with that too.
So where are some of the places they can find alternatives? Like we talked a little bit about beef tallow. Mm-hmm. We've talked about butter, like pure grass-fed or ghee butter, clarified butter is really, really good. Where do you get those types of things?
So I've really cut out a lot of seed oils, and like snacks and, things like that. So, Thrive we've used a lot. We used a lot of Thrive. And actually on Thrive, you can put like a filter to filter out any seed oil products. So that's really nice.
Yep.
So Thrive's a good place for that. If you're looking for like tortilla chips, that's a very hard one to find no seed oils with because
But you did
expensive.
find some, and
I
they're
did.
delicious.
They are good.
Yeah.
It's that it's called the Siete maize chips,
Yep.
and Jake might be able to throw one up on the screen for us. But yeah, the Siete maize chips are really good. I don't like their grain-free tortilla chips. Those are the floppy ones. Those aren't very good.
Yeah.
Masa chips are good, but they're a little pricey. Those are the ones from what's their name? The Tan Man and Olive Oil Queen.
Okay.
They made that company, and their chips are good, but they're really expensive. Yeah, so Thrive, excuse me. Thrive's a really
You got
good
the
place.
gluten coughs.
I got the
going on
gluten coughs
now.
right now. Yeah, so Thrive's good. Myers has some stuff. The biggest thing is you just, when it comes to snacks, if you're not really careful, you almost can't avoid them. And eating out, I don't think there is a place you can get seed oil free.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just not
I don't.
feasible. Corporations are not going to spend that kind of money. I mean, you could
Right.
probably go to like a place like True Foods or,
Yeah, maybe.
some of the healthier restaurant options. They probably are seed oil free, but we can't confirm that. So,
Yeah, I can't. You could ask though.
Yeah, and I think one of the easiest ways too is to just stop using seed oils in your day-to-day cooking and baking. So
Yeah, where you can easily avoid
yeah.
it. Yeah,
I mean, like when you're baking, I don't know, like almond flour pumpkin bread, like I did the other night. I used avocado oil. It has a higher smoke point, so it's safe to use in the oven with cooking.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I mean, I don't notice the difference of the taste. I mean, somebody that's been living on seed oils their whole life might notice the difference, but I've used alternative oils, and for so long, I don't notice the difference any longer. So you just have to train your taste buds.
Yeah.
Really.
It looks like there's actually two. You can go to localfats.com or seedoilfreerestaurants.com, and that can let you know of any restaurants in your area that don't use seed oils. But yeah, it is like when you go out, there's no fast food that doesn't. So
yeah. I mean, you shouldn't be eating fast food regardless unless you absolutely have to.
Sometimes you have to.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that sometimes it's just not, but if you can avoid it.
Right.
I haven't had Chick-fil-A in a long, long time. I'm proud of myself. So, all right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up today's episode on seed oils. We hope you enjoyed it. We're going to put lots of links in the show notes because you got to do your own research. I mean, we are just two gals on a mission to try to find answers because one thing that we're finding is that the conventional media doesn't want to give us the answers, and we have to go out and look for information ourselves. We want to hear from you. Share some of your tips and tricks, some of your favorite places to shop. We want to hear from all of our listeners. So until next time, take care. God bless. Live healthy. We'll see you again next time. Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.